Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Stacker News Live. My name's Car with my BFF Keyan. Keyan, how's it going?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. How was your week?
That's great. My week was pretty good. I finally wrapped up the first stage of our wallet stuff.
Oh wow!
Which I said I think 2 weeks ago I would be done with. But yeah, we finally did it today, so it feels good. That's like the first of maybe 3 or 4 stages, but this was like the biggest one. So I'm happy to have that done with. How was your week?
It was good. Just working on a lot of investment stuff, getting the pitch deck, all that stuff ready. So I'll share that some of that stuff on Stacker News once I get a little further ahead. But just getting a lot of feedback. It's tough to know like the story you want to tell when you're putting together a deck.
Do you want to work through it right now? Do you want to do a little role play?
No, that would not be good.
Show people how you talk to rich people.
No, I don't want to do that.
Hello, Carl. I have money. Would you like some?
I think it's just more about just making sure you're telling the right story that's accurate and depicts facts, if that makes any sense.
Facts. Okay. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. What was I going to say? But yeah, just working on that, and then it's been a slow week here in Austin. Everybody's on vacation.
Where are they even? Where's Austin is for vacations, right?
No, everybody leaves. Like,
yeah, it's hot here.
Yeah, everybody leaves. It's hot, and they go with places where the water's at. But yeah, 4th of July is next week. You got any plans?
Oh, I mean, I didn't even realize 4th of July was happening. That'll be, maybe I'll have like a seance for my cat that vanished or died last year at the same time.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P.
Whatever the cat's name was.
Meow Donna was her name.
If you're out there, find us.
We call her Donna.
Me and Donna. Let's jump into this top 5 stories of the week. If you've never seen this crazy show, it's about Stacker.news, the front page of Bitcoin, where we cover where you, the stacker, gets to vote on what's the important news of the week. Looks like this week Julian Assange was the most important news, but maybe next week it'll be something completely different.
You. Maybe you got freed in a plea deal with the United States government.
Oh, let's hope not. But let's dive into it. First top story is Julian Assange has reached a plea deal with the U.S., allowing him to go free. This is from Saunter, June 24th. News territory, 54 comments, 5,386 sets. Keel, what is this?
Yeah, so Julian Assange has, been an enemy of the state for a long time. He was in the Ecuadorian embassy, in an asylum for like 7 years, and then they like removed his asylum, like the Ecuador removed his asylum, and then he got out, and then he was imprisoned in the UK, and he's been, I think, imprisoned in the UK for like 5-6 years or something. Anyway, but I guess, we've all been kind of afraid that he would get extradited to the United States and sentenced to like a life sentence or whatever, but the case took a turn this week, and he was given a plea deal. If he were to plead guilty, he'd just get sentence time served and be able to go about as a free man and live his life. So he agreed to the deal, where he I think pled guilty to conspiracy charges, like conspiracy to, I think, gather and intelligence on the United States and disseminate it. I think it was like the charge, and he agreed to that. And yeah, but now he's free. This is him on a plane, which was paid for, many people believe, by Jack Dorsey. There was like a donation, or they requested donations because it was like a $500,000 flight off this little tiny island. And Jack Dorsey, around the time that this transaction was confirmed, sent out a tweet, in a kind of subtle way, suggesting that it was him that sent him, said like be safe or whatever at that time. Anyway, pretty awesome. I mean, the man is free. I mean, it sucks for journalism, I think, in general, is what a lot of people are saying. I don't understand these things fully, but I guess, this is kind of a precedent that it's getting set. That if you acquire and disseminate national secrets, you might meet a similar fate, or a worse one, actually. Anyway, I thought it was pretty cool. What do you think of it, Car?
Well, yeah, let's jump to the top comment. Top comment from this story was from Siggy47. He said, well, I can't see. There it goes. I'm happy for Assange, and I don't want to take away from the fact that he will soon be free. But the fact that the U.S. gets a guilty plea out of this BS, leaking national security secrets, the case will now be precedent and will basically put another nail in the coffin of a free press. This is from Siggy. Then Anon came in and said the fact that the U.S. had to use a plea deal for time served, letting Assange go immediately, is a strong sign that they were concerned they wouldn't win in court in a real trial. So what is he saying? Is he saying that this is bad for any other, freedom hacktivist journalist that comes through next?
Yeah, basically. I think that's what this suggests, is that that the United States had basically it suggests the United States had good reason to want to view him as a criminal and treat him like a criminal. That's basically what he's agreeing to, but you can't blame him for wanting to be free after 12 years of, hell, a version of hell.
Yeah, I got undisciplined. He says, how much does that matter? Look at what they did to him without precedent. Our plea deals discounted to some degree in subsequent legal arguments. I'd never thought about the second question. It seems to me that jury decisions would carry more weight. I think it's going to be interesting to see, because he's not going to go back and do WikiLeaks anymore, is he?
I don't know, but I have a sense he'll be freed up to at least be participating in.
Maybe he'll just do the conference stuff and talk to, or maybe he just goes and lives his life happily.
Maybe he'll
that's what I would do if I was him. I would just
protect his identity more.
Yeah, maybe just go and enjoy the rest of your life with your family.
Yeah, he does have 2 kids now that he fathered in the embassy, the Ecuadorian embassy.
So is WikiLeaks still around or no?
That's a good question. I think it might be. I don't know, though. I thought I recalled they were still doing their thing, at least when he was in Ecuador, or the Ecuadorian embassy.
Did you see what Tom Kay said? He said, good, to remind you of one of the reasons why Julian Assange was hunted by those who like to install money laundering mechanism like the Afghan or Ukrainian war. Stacker's getting hot. Look at this.
Wow.
Apparently, this was inside of WikiLeaks. For the podcast listeners at home, the CIA created ISIS, according to the WikiLeaks that was leaked back when Julian Assange did this in, was it 2016, I guess?
I think that's pretty. I think it seems to be pretty common, is that we enter an area, we train and arm.
Do you think this is good? Do you think
this
is good for the CIA or bad for the CIA? Or do you think this is, because I don't know if you've been watching the election stuff, but there's been talk amongst these presidential candidates that they're thinking about shutting down the CIA or limiting their power to some degree.
Certainly RFK is saying that. I don't know of any other.
I thought I heard Trump say the same thing.
He says a lot of stuff, though. That's kind of Trump's thing, is he just says a lot of stuff.
But I wonder, I'm curious to wonder if that's something that's on the table now that Julian Assange is free, you think?
Well, I don't see why that's any more likely now that Julian Assange is free. But it does. I wonder. I would be interested in the motivations of the Justice Department here. Some of the stackers were suggesting that they didn't have a strong case and they'd probably lose it. Probably embarrassing to bring it to the fore of discourse again. But it also could be that this is one of the things that Trump was shouting, that I recall seeing on various social media platforms, that Trump was shouting at these rallies, was, I'm going to free Julian Assange, I'm going to Bitcoin mining everywhere, I'm going to mine Bitcoin in the White House, type of stuff he was saying. And I think maybe that was Biden's administration being all right, maybe we need to be not so totalitarian.
Yeah. On the news site, it says, starting in late 2009, according to the government, Assange conspired with Chelsea Manning, a military intelligence analyst, to use his WikiLeaks website to disclose tens of thousands of activity reports about the war in Afghanistan, hundreds of thousands of reports about the war in Iraq, hundreds of thousands of State Department cables, and assessment briefs of detainees at the U.S. detention camp at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. Yeah, that's a lot of information.
Yeah, and and Chelsea Manning was pardoned by Obama, and they got lots of nice treatment on a relative basis to Assange, and I never really understood that too much. They were like, here it says they're sentenced to 35 years.
Oh,
but then
Manning was sentenced to 35 years in military prison.
Yeah,
But Obama commuted her sentence. Yeah, it also says here, too, the WikiLeaks also published the hacked emails from Democratic National Committee that upended the 2016 presidential race. I don't know, man. It was strange times back then. It still is strange times now. But we'll see what they'll do. I don't know.
Yeah, I think this is great. I thought Assange would end up running forever and die in custody somewhere.
Yeah, there was a couple photos of him like a year ago or 2 years ago, wherever it was, and he didn't look too good, dude. He looks good now.
Yeah,
or
prison
looks as good as he could look.
Prison, it isn't good for. It doesn't look good on photographs.
Well, it's such a bad way to treat human beings, in my opinion. Like, but
Do you mean to put them in prison?
I mean, dude, you're talking about like a concrete block for like years. If that's the rest of your life, like that's all you know. That's wild, man.
Yeah, it's true.
That's not a life.
Yeah, I wonder if we could do something better. There are probably people who think a lot about this, and they probably have some really good ideas, but I don't. This is the way it's been done. That we've been doing it for a while, so I don't know. It's not obvious to me of a better way.
Maybe we just put Vision Pros on them or something. And
ooh,
just kidding.
Yeah, have them solve.
Put Vision Pros on them.
Play online casinos all day and make us money.
Just kidding. But yeah, happy for Julian and his family, and yeah, looks like the Stackers are too. The next top story is When Money Dies. This is from Carl B. Menger, Bitcoin Territory, June 25th. 28 comments, 13,000 sats. What's this?
Yeah, Carl B. Menger shared this post, When Money Dies, where he talks about what early hyperinflation looks like, what later hyperinflation looks like, and it's like a brief survey of the things that go on. He went over what happened in the Weimar Germany. I would call it the Weimar Republic, and Zimbabwe as well. And, just like what happened there, how people dealt with it. Zimbabwe ended up adopting a multi-currency system, as it says there, which is often the case, as the government can't be trusted, so they end up trusting other governments. And yeah, he's kind of like, here's the pattern that you want to look for if this is happening, and here are the things that we're kind of already beginning to see. And in addition to that, we are seeing more gold acquisition by the central banks. He talks here about Saudi Arabia, maybe earlier in the post. I don't know if it's here, but Saudi Arabia going off of only accepting dollars for trade of oil. Just kind of giving us an idea of what things might look like as it gets this way. It's an interesting contrast to last week's post about why Bitcoiners are doomers, and so this is in line with like Bitcoins being doomers. And I think it was JT Woodhouse was saying that we are a little more predisposed to this position because we think that we stand a better chance of winning in the case where this is the future, where it's actually hyperinflated and everything. So kind of fun.
It reminds me of a Reddit post that we were talking about earlier.
Oh yeah. Well, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
No.
Do you want to share your thought?
You shut it down.
Well, you're like, no, but you're doing this. You're teasing the viewers. Car's talking about that post where it was
let's see if I can find
I'm
it.
from the future, and is like written in 2012 or whatever. And he like predicts the future of Bitcoin and what's going on with Bitcoin. Yeah, this like fake AMA.
It's a Bitcoin. This one right here, Time Traveler.
Yeah, I'm a time traveler.
I mean, dude, he gets a lot of stuff right. That's all I'm saying. Stackers, where are the time travelers? What's going on? Why don't we have our own time traveler in Stacker News? Coob.
I don't know. I'd like to fact check the time traveler. Like, if someone wants to do that, I think that'd be a great post. Or
Time
like,
travelers, if you're listening, if you're watching, come to Stacker News and drop your alpha like you did here.
like I wonder what the
Look, so this is where it gets really interesting. He said, he talks about this goes, so 2025. I am sending this message for the year 2025. Things are looking bleak here, and some of you will carry blood on your hands. If you don't believe me, please move on. And then look, this is what he says. On average, every year so far, the value of Bitcoin has increased by a factor of about 10. And he goes on to say, from here onwards, there's no good way of expressing its value.
But none of those prices are right.
Hey, we're still early, Coob. Look, check this out. Look,
Nobody says $1 million. It'll be $1 million.
There are just over
19
19 million Bitcoin known to the world today. 7 billion people today.
You're ignoring the stuff you got wrong.
I'm trying to get the stuff that he got right. There's some in it. Okay, here he goes. This is where he says, the four institutions with the largest still accessible Bitcoin balance are believed to be as following. ASIC miner, 50,000 Bitcoin. IMF, 70,000 Bitcoin. Government of Saudi Arabia, 110,000 Bitcoin. North Korean government, 180,000 Bitcoin. We can't really tell these facts, but there's bitcointreasuries.com that you can look into.
Yeah, but there's nothing about Saylor.
Talks about the Winklevoss
like 200,000.
twins. Talks about the Winklevoss twins investing in a football club. I'm just kidding.
That would be actually impressive. But, like, no, all this stuff is mostly, him projecting into the future.
A lot of stuff he gets right. Maybe it is fake, but
it's definitely fake.
It was 10 years ago though, or 11 years ago. That's a lot to get somewhat right.
He clearly guessed the direction right.
Maybe it lines up. Somebody do the analysis. Carl B. Manger's post and the guy, the time traveler. It lines up. Anyway, this is what, when I read this a while ago, is what it reminded me of. I was like, oh, I remember that, and I went back and looked at it. I didn't want to bring it up, but Keyan, you made me bring it up. So Stacker said,
what did you say about me?
I said I didn't want to bring up the time traveler thing, but
all right.
Bitcoin Albie says, such a great article, very informative description about inflation. Carl B. Manger says, thanks, bro. I Am Single says, amazing article. Thanks. I'm prepared for the worst, and I hope this fiat bubble will worse sooner, and people will still node faith in paper trash, realize the myth.
Looks like Siggy shared a Goodreads link to a book about the Zimbabwe inflation. I have heard this
is a pretty good book, he says, about Zimbabwe inflation.
When Money Dies, about Germany's hyperinflation.
There you go.
This one about Zimbabwe might be really interesting.
Got Jesse James says, in the next decade, we will see the same books about U.S. dollar. Just wait. I don't know. See.
Yeah, I wonder if it'll be as bad. I don't think we're there yet.
Who knows? But Time Traveler thinks we are. The next top story is choose wisely your Lightning wallet you want to use. It's from Darthcoin. Bitcoin beginners territory, June 23rd. 47 comments, 7,156 sats. Keyan, what's this?
Yeah. Darthcoin is trying to visualize the differences between all the various Lightning wallets that we have.
Are there differences?
Of course there are. They're all not just copying each other. They all have a different approach to things. And he shows here.
You put Zeus in the middle.
We know he likes Zeus a lot. But he says in the post here he doesn't want to recommend.
Where's Mutiny at? Did he put Mutiny in here?
Yeah, it's on one of the lines.
Oh, it's right here.
Yeah. He says he doesn't want to recommend any particular wallet.
Put Breeze over here too?
And he says when you listen to influencers, they'll bias you towards either a company they're paid for or a wallet they personally use and just aren't familiar with the other ones. And he says that you should kind of figure out where you sit, what you want from your wallet. And so he has a bunch of custodial wallets in the bottom right circle, and then he has in the bottom left circle he has wallets that are a little more dependent on an LSP or a server, but are still self-custodial. And then in the top he had like a little more less dependent on a centralized server and self-custodial.
He says, be your own bank. Think like a bank.
Yeah. he reminded us of this, which is like you should have your own personal central bank that you
He's
yourself.
passionate about this.
Yeah,
He's very passionate about it. Gotta love it.
passionate man.
Is that his cats?
He also is a big fan of cats.
There you go. Look. I would have never guessed him as a cat man.
He might not be, but
Is that his tooth?
That's his tooth. That's where he keeps his Bitcoin. He likes to drop that image everywhere.
Create a personal poem. Interesting. Yeah, it's all there right in front of you. Stackers, what do you think? First top comments from Justin Shocknet. He says, nice graph. To clarify, Shock Wallet can start in cloud credit custodial mode, which will upgrade itself to a self-custodial cloud node once affordable if you don't attach a remote node. So it could technically fits in 3 categories. Darthcoin says, yeah, it was hard for me to position it. I should move it down a bit. Siggy says, can you give an opinion on using Zeus with the LSP as a mobile Nostr zapping wallet? Have you tried this much? Darthcoin says, I do not use Zeus with Nostr. Or other ways for that.
Yeah, he said he uses Albeep for Nostr stuff.
Yeah. Cool. Good post.
Yeah. Nice guide, putting things in perspective for people.
The next top story is book review, the Genesis book. This is from Siggy47, books and articles territory. 30 comments, 2,488 sats. Yeah, what's this? Got another book? Another Bitcoin book?
Yeah. This one, I think, was released a while ago. Might have been a year, maybe 2 years ago. This was written by a pretty prolific writer for Bitcoin Magazine. He's also the editor of their print magazine at one point. But it does like a full 100-year history kind of leading up to Bitcoin. And yeah, Siggy read it. He said it was great. Highly recommends it. I have not read it. I should read it. Yeah.
Got Sats me. He says, oh, great, another book I need to read on my unread shelf. Siggy says, you won't regret it. Yeah. Number one takeaway, this from Gimbal Lock. He says, number one takeaway, this book finally connected the dots between economic philosophy and the technical. Hayek is emphasized right from page 1, is reintroduced several times throughout the story as the technology slowly progresses towards realization of this concept of denationalized money system.
Oh, that takeaway is enough to read the book. If he
I
really connects
want
that
to read
dot.
about this denationalized money system.
Oh yeah, let's decentralize and denationalize money.
It's interesting. Yeah, I'll check it out. The next top story is China's pop real estate bubble. Farmers plow fields between ruins. This is from Zosportico, June 22nd. Economy territory, 12 comments, 2,383 sats. You what's this?
Yeah, these are... So China was building a bunch of stuff. I mean, for like the last decade, they have had like a huge real estate bubble. I don't really know, but that's my understanding after reading, various things. And so there are a bunch of these ghost towns in China where they've kind of like half-built developments, half-built, little office buildings, very tall office buildings, several of them, and they're just not completed. And in this case, there's this development where they're building mansions in China, and they ended up abandoning the project, and farmers have begun to plow the land between the mansions to farm on it. And you could see some cows. Look at these massive houses. You imagine these houses in Austin?
Farmers got a farm.
Some big old houses. And it looks like they have basements. There's another, I think that was like the model home that they would show people.
So can people just move in there?
I don't think they want to. I think that's kind of the problem. 60 Minutes also did a recent story on this and the Chinese economy and how it's in a pretty significant downturn, significant enough that they're actually admitting it's in a downturn, which they don't normally do. And they covered some of these abandoned apartment buildings, and it was really sad because a lot, that was kind of the nest egg for a lot of Chinese families, was putting down payments on a lot of these on homes in these developments, and now with the Evergrande stuff and all these massive real estate development companies in China just going under, that they're not going to get any of that money back. But yeah, you could probably move to China and move in one of these, Car. You can run a Pleb Lab China out of one of these.
No thanks. This is. Do you think this is because of communism? You think?
I don't know if it's directly tied to communism. You're like the communism expert.
It feels very directly tied to communism for a lot of reasons. Yeah, I didn't do research beforehand, or else I'd go to the next slide. But
there's no next slide.
It feels very communistic.
I mean, I think we associate communism with failure. So certainly in that regard, this looks like a failure. And if our association is correct, then yes, this is communistic. But I don't think this seems like weird central bank fueled, real estate bubble. That isn't
central planning.
I don't know if
socialism.
I don't know if this is the result of central planning. There's definitely the result of central bank monetary policies, which are centrally planned. But we do that in the United States too. So
it's the death of money,
as Carl B. Menger said.
Jesse James says, "Love it. At least cattle can be housed in safer barns." That's one way to look at it.
Think about how good those cows taste. They've been sipping on champagne.
Wagyu. Where is this at?
Yeah, that Chinese Wagyu.
Chinese Wagyu, but this is from the state guest mansions. State guest mansions Wagyu beef. Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah,
dude, I want my cows from this. Think about it.
Yeah,
you know.
There you go. There's a business idea, Bitcoin business idea.
Give cows their own home.
Yeah, go to these developments, farm some cows out there.
Got Coins Reporter says this shows the most idiotic decision made by a government that wants to show itself as the most far-sighted.
Fancy grain silos.
Undisciplined says in 20 years, the idea that China was going to overtake the West will look as silly as the idea that the Soviet Union was going to.
Oh, that's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah. Somebody tell Ray Dalio he's holding the wrong bags.
That'd be pretty awesome. I don't think anyone really wants China to win that isn't China.
Ray Dalio does.
I don't think he does. I think he just thinks it will.
Holding heavy China bags.
I know he's holding heavy China bags, and I know he would like to be right, but I don't think he wants China to win. I don't think he likes China.
If they can pivot to cows instead of communism, this might work. Good stuff. That was my favorite post of this week so far. This is the final post, or is that?
Oh, this is my top.
Oh, so that was all the top 5 stories. Stacker's more communistic posts. This is good stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, we need to show this every week so we know what to avoid here in America. Because
unless you're a commie and you don't want to avoid it.
Let's hope patriots overtake that at some point.
But you can be a patriot and a communist.
You think so?
I think so. I think that's.
I don't know if you
isn't that like Che Guevara's thing? He's like,
is he?
Wasn't that like Castro's thing? He's like he's like cares about his people and his country, so he wants to be a communist. He thinks communism is the best way to serve them. That's what oftentimes I think the idea is. I don't think they actually want.
Oh, you're saying they don't start off communistic?
No, communism is like is like a political system that these people believe brings about the best
ever wrote anything on
circumstances for people. It's not inherently evil. It's just wrong. Many of us believe it's wrong.
No one talks about communism on Stacker News.
Well, because it's
live in communism. There you go. We have one. There you go. We got this one, Keyan. Live in communism. Communism came to my country when I was 3 years old. Most of my life I was in a bubble of privilege without even knowing it. This is from a stacker. Whatever happened to this guy?
I read that one. He's still posting. Yeah.
So maybe Beef, if you're out there, Beef57, give us an update.
I think he's well out of.
But I mean,
he's
the only stacker that probably has lived through communism. Look at this. Remind you of anywhere?
I think he's moved on.
Crypto Sensei says, yet despite all that you have undergone, I sense a love for your country. which is why your words are powerful, because your hurt is profound and seeps through your words. See, this is perfect. This is a perfect example of what you just said.
Yes. I mean, he's not the author.
You can still have
isn't a
love for your
communist.
country and be a patriot and be against communism.
Of course. But you
don't
can also
you
be
don't have to be both.
you can also be a communist and be a patriot. That's the main point I'm trying to make.
Oh. But people who are patriots, real patriots, will know that you're a communist and not really a patriot. You're just
I don't know. I don't think
appropriating
I don't think we
patriotism.
share definitions of words.
You're just
there.
appropriating
So it's a bit
patriotism
hard.
to communists, to your communistic
There's no
devices.
patriotism. Patriotism does not
Hey.
does not imply a system of governance. That like an economic system. It just it's caring about your country and its values or whatever, and those can be communist values in the case of somewhere like China.
We get Caleb. He says, "No, bro, that's not real communism. If we did it here and I was in charge, it would be different." Oh, it's he said though that was sarcasm. Yeah, he said, "Oh, this is Venezuela."
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so we're gonna jump into Keyan's top stories of the week. Your first. Oh wait, hang on. Oh, I screwed up. What was the other one that you had?
Doesn't really matter.
Sorry, we went on a communistic path. This is yours, Off-Grid Steve. What's this?
Yeah, so Joe Nakamoto went out to the UK and interviewed this guy who sold his house and bought Bitcoin with it after the 2021 crash, or like when it started to go into the
Is he in front of a green screen?
bear market. No, those are his homes.
Oh, wow.
So he lives in a stationary, what he calls a stationary caravan, which is like kind of in a relatively remote place, and it's off grid. He uses solar. He's Bitcoin mining. They showed the aerial footage. He has tons of solar panels. He's heating his homes with the miners. But he like quit his job. He sold his house, and that's kind of the thing. He's like living the dream. He said he'd go to these Bitcoin conferences and he'd see people who were, actually acting, like actually making a difference, like trying to make a difference for Bitcoin, for people. And he was inspired and bought himself a Tesla because he said he wanted to be pimping. But then he sold his house and like went, Bitcoin up, Bitcoin. Full Bitcoin guy that is now worthy of an interview.
Yeah, I think that's really the way to do it, right? It's like if you're really going to go off the deep end, like fully embrace it. Kudos to this guy.
Yeah, he's done it. He seems really...
Because that's the whole point of having Bitcoin, right? Is so you can go and build your own little citadel and be totally off-grid and raise kids without a social security number, stuff like that.
Whoa. But he said he has two daughters, I think.
Are they off-grid too?
They're off-grid with them. They live with...
No, but are they off-grid in the system?
Oh, no, I don't think
off-system?
I don't think they're off-system like that. There's a guy in the show Alone that I'm watching right now where he says he grew up in one of those communities within the United States where
they're off-system.
They're completely off-grid, like they have no paperwork. But they said it sounds kind of in its own way kind of bad because it sounds like his parents were like having them do like military drills and like war games and stuff, preparing for being like attacked by the government. Sounds like possibly traumatizing, but he's on the show Alone where they have like a bunch of survival skills and he learned that in that environment. Anyway, I don't think they're that type of people.
Jesse James says, balls on the guy. One needs to find its own way, whatever suits the current situation. My plan might be different than yours, but I guess as long as we have plan B, we'll be okay. Gray Review says, agreed. More power to off-grid Steve, but most of us aren't going to this extreme. Seth's mate said, cheers, love to see this. Yeah, awesome video.
Yeah, cool. And he showed us I think it's a hash box and how quiet it is and it's warm in his house. I don't know. He's living a dream. It's pretty awesome.
That's awesome. The other top story of yours was, oh no, this one's mine.
My top story was about the Supreme Court's ruling, I think, reversing the Chevron doctrine.
Oh yeah, let's pull that up.
It's on the front page.
Is it on the front page?
It is on. It should be.
Oh yeah, this was yours. The Chevron difference. What's this?
Yeah. So the Supreme Court basically said that it's the judicial branch that gets to decide when regulations are vague and not the government agencies is basically the ruling here, which seems like the way it's supposed to be, is that it's a Supreme Court. If the rules are vague, it's supposed to be the court deciding whether they were broken or not, and not so the Chevron doctrine or whatever, the Chevron ruling made it so that they would have to defer. Courts would have to defer. They'd have to reach out to the agency and be like, "What do you mean by this regulation or this rule where it's ambiguous?" And then they would give them a response, and they'd have to rule based on their response. This basically overturns that and says, no, the court doesn't have to defer that decision, and they get to actually, interpret the law as they see it, and which removes power from the regulatory agencies and prevents legislation. I think it should prevent legislation of like ambiguous laws, and then trying to enforce them however they want to enforce them. So in general, this is like a good. One way to view this is very good for new technologies, new Bitcoin and other new fields where they want to apply like old regulations to new things. And so in general, I think this is good, but I think the left side of the political spectrum views it the other way. They think it's bad.
So Siki says the Civil War demonstrated that the chief executive's powers derive directly from the Constitution and have as its aim the preservation of the Union through law, which is binding on the states. The check on those orders would be impeachment ultimately.
I've been watching the John Adams series on HBO, which stars Paul Giamatti he plays John Adams. It's actually pretty good. It like covers the founding of America, but it put me in touch with, I think Thomas Jefferson was super based, like massively based. I haven't read any I think original works. Maybe I think the Constitution was largely authored by him, but I don't know.
Yeah, did you see what Free TX said? Free TX says you should see how the bootlickers at Hacker News are reacting. They are positively panicked about this.
Largely left of center audience at Hacker News.
You say checks and balances return. Lots of good news recently.
Yeah, this with the Assange thing is kind of like, wow, what is going on? Like, I feel like up until this point, it was mostly.
So what are you saying?
Bad news. I don't know. It feels like there's like things are turning or something. I don't know. It's maybe it's just a weird coincidence, but I know you like coincidences.
You gotta call him out, Key Coob. You gotta call him out.
Good.
You gotta call him out. That's what I was saying, dude. I've been saying it for months. Like, we need patriots inside our government to move us in the direction of freaking hope and innovation.
But you don't mean communist patriots.
Yeah, obviously, and it's good that maybe that's what's going on. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's going to rely on a very few, because there's probably very few of them left. You got to fight back inside the government.
Oh,
you have to.
I think I would guess that these organizations are made up of at least half of them are good people, at least half, and they just kind of go with the.
Yeah, there's probably a lot more Indians than Chiefs, I would imagine. Maybe, I don't know.
Wait, which are bad?
Having too many Chiefs and no Indians.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the metaphor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, I think it's important that somebody in there pays attention. Did you watch the election last night?
Oh, there wasn't an election, but there was a debate.
Did you watch
the election? Yeah, I did watch it, and I thought, I wasn't super surprised by Biden. It seemed to be the version of Biden that I had been watching in clips, but maybe they were chosen and bad. But I think the debate demonstrated that that's actually, the manifestations of age, which is, kind of normal. And I don't think he should be, I don't think he needs to be shamed for it or anything, but he probably shouldn't be ruling, a massive, powerful country. And Trump was in his normal form, which was just saying all types of random stuff and using the debate like a big commercial for making fun of Biden and saying he's the best person in the world. I don't know. It's not great. I mean, it's kind of horrible that this is what we're choosing. We're being asked to choose between these two people. But what did you think of it?
I'm not really a politics guy, you know. I don't pay attention to this stuff. So I don't really have an opinion one way or another. The only thing I will say though is just looking at it from like a human perspective, like it's not right whatever they're doing, and you know, it's not right whatever they're doing to him. He doesn't seem like he wants to be up there, and he doesn't seem like he. Forget the fact about like what you were saying. I wouldn't even go there. I would just go to like, has somebody just like checked up on the guy and make sure he's okay? Like, because of that, he doesn't seem like he's willfully wanting to do this. To me, when I see his face, he looks like he's being strut up there and I couldn't imagine like doing that to my family or my parents or even people that I know who are at that age. Like, to me, that just seems more like it just looks all sorts of bad. Whoever's behind the scenes encouraging him to do these things, he doesn't seem like forget the whole in his right mind and stuff. I just think like it seems like somebody's like wheeling him out there, and it's not right. That's what I'm saying. I don't think anyone, but my interpretation based on what I know about Joe Biden is he's very politically ambitious and probably even in his old age wants to be president if he has the opportunity to be president. And I'm guessing he isn't forced. Maybe he's being encouraged, but my guess is he isn't being forced. And but then the like political establishment kind of turned on him. I don't know if you watched the like. He looks like he's being forced.
The debate. That's fair that you can believe that. I mean,
it's not that I believe. I can see it. You can watch it.
Okay, but you're basing your beliefs on what you see, and you're basically thinking you see facts. I don't in someone's unconfessed state, which I don't see it.
He's not gonna.
I saw something else.
So what does he need to do? Does he need to go out there and say, "Hey, I'm being held against my will. I don't want to do this"? Will that prove to you that he's? Because his face is saying that.
It isn't to me. Maybe I'm autistic and can't read faces.
I think that's probably more accurate.
Yeah, if that's what you need to believe. But I would guess that he just
look at that face right there. You think he look?
That isn't a hostage's face. I don't know what you're trying to. I don't know. He's coughing. That's just like
is he that, or he's saying, "Hey, get me off of here"?
Oh, I see. He thinks there's a microphone in his hand.
Dude, I'm just saying, like it's not that hard to see. I guess maybe I hang around with a lot of old people, so I kind of tell their faces. Anyway, go ahead. What were you gonna say? Secret
powers. Yeah, I would. Well, all I was gonna say is that the political establishment in the like after debate thing, the like debate recap, were all saying that they're going to replace him. They're like, I got tons of text messages from high-ranking officials in the Democratic Party that say that they're shocked and they need to replace Biden. And so a lot of people are anticipating that Biden won't actually run against Trump in the upcoming election. And
who's Kamala's going to run? Or
probably not. They were saying in this thing, they said probably not Kamala because she polls even more negatively than Joe. And so a lot of people are thinking Gavin Newsom might be.
Who's that?
Picked. He's the current governor of California.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Help us.
Total.
Kepford says another thought I had after the debate. All it took to expose what politics in the U.S. really is was Trump. A brash, obscene man with no shame came in and played dirty. He's mean and calls them names. He punches back. It quickly devolves into what it is, a naked grab for power. The main thing that Trump has done that I approve of is exposing the lie of civility we are taught in schools. Politics is a blood sport. These people do not have ideals other than power. That isn't new. Trump just doesn't pretend like all before him have. This is the primary reason they hate him and says he's a threat to democracy. He isn't really a threat to democracy. Democracy is a sham. He's a threat to the shared delusion of the one-party state we live under, the one ruled by the power elite. The wealthy men that pay for all of this, as Carlin would call the owners of the country. Is Trump the answer? No. Is he the jerk that makes this more obvious? Yes.
Yeah, I think So the one thing I like about Trump is I feel like when Trump is president, no one wants to work with him. Like the departments and the agencies don't want to work with him. So there are like checks and balances on his power. Where like someone like Biden gets in office and it feels like the whole government aligns behind Biden, and it's like one giant blade with which
I think
it
it's
cuts through.
simpler than that. I think it's just that Trump runs companies and he understands what to do and why you have to meet people halfway and maybe why you don't have to and why you don't budge here. And I think that has more to do with his experience in
Well, I was mostly saying
business.
what I like about him. That might be what you like about him, and I think that's a fair thing to like about him because he does have a business sense which most politicians lack.
Yeah, I would say that's
Which is
probably why a
relevant.
lot of people like him.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was another one. And then the one I wanted to bring up was a no coiner's concern with Bitcoin that NSA created it. This is a post from Satsmate. He said that he was having lunch with a coworker and asked him what his biggest concern with Bitcoin was. His coworker said the NSA created Bitcoin, and he said this is what, with unbelievable conviction. He's one of those IT guys who goes down all the NSA cybersecurity surveillance and CBDC rabbit holes. I told him that the NSA is involved in developing encryption tech like SHA, but just because Bitcoin uses this is in their proof of work consensus doesn't mean with certainty that the NSA invented Bitcoin.
What do you think?
I feel like when I was in IT, a lot of people would say similar things.
Okay.
It feels like a common, maybe a common IT person's perspective on things. I could see that.
Why do you think that is? Do you guys see a lot of NSA stuff, or why do you think you guys are more likely to have that theory?
I don't know. I never had that theory. I don't know why they did. I would imagine it's probably because they're, some of them can go work for some of these government agencies, and so that's all they know. Maybe, I don't know.
I see. They see them as they're their Google or something.
Yeah, I guess like a software, like you're like a software engineer. You guys like, we can go to Google or Meta. And
Yeah,
for like
there's
IT
like
people, it's like we can go to Raytheon, stuff like that.
Yeah,
Go work for the.
Let's do IT for drones.
Let's go. Yeah.
Let's debug a bomb that's going to get dropped on civilians.
Whoa. Hey now. JBBTC had the top comment. It says, sounds thoroughly black-pilled. If he truly believes that, then he must have very little hope for the future. Sad. I think so, too. I think that you have to be really... I agree with the top comment. To be really hopeless.
Tor is known to be developed by the government. I mean, even if the Bitcoin was developed by the government.
You think it was developed? Wait, I didn't ask you. Do you think it's developed by the
No.
government? Okay, I was like, wow.
But it could be from someone who worked at the government at one point. A lot of cryptographers were employed by the government because it's a relatively niche field, and the government had more need for cryptographers than anyone else.
I think now there's definitely people that work for the government that are in Bitcoin for sure. That also work for Bitcoin companies. I think that's a certainty.
But you see that as more of like a sort of an espionage situation,
No,
or do you think they just transition from government to Bitcoin companies?
Either that, or they still work for the government and they're also working for Bitcoin companies. I think that's.
And they're publicly known to do that, or they are hiding that fact from everyone?
I don't think it's necessarily hiding. It's kind of like just being
sneaky.
No, it's not even
Like
being
a
sneaky. It's just
spy.
It's part of the job, right?
Being sneaky.
No, it's just gathering information and maybe moving it in a direction that you want it to move.
Some would say like a spy.
I don't think a spy is the right word. Spy like infiltrates and tries to gather information and.
That's exactly what you just described these people were doing.
No, I was saying like it's more plausible that there's people that work for the government that also work in Bitcoin companies while still working for the government. But would you call it a spy?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what you
that's
mean.
a spy.
I don't believe that there are people who
I
do
think
that.
they just work for agencies, right? I mean, that's all these things are. Just
Yeah, but you said they're not
agencies.
publicly known to be working for governments, and they're hiding the fact that they're working for governments at the same time they're working for Bitcoin companies, which is what a spy would do.
I think spies get overblown. I always thought spy meant you working for you're infiltrating another country's agencies or you're infiltrating other governments' agencies. That's what I always thought a spy meant. Like, let's say you're a spy for the United States.
Oh no, there's corporate espionage.
Well, yeah, I know that, but I'm saying, let's say hypothetically you're a spy for the U.S. and then you go to Russia to infiltrate Russia's agents. Like that's what I thought spy was.
Oh no, but you can be a spy for the U.S. and you go and you work at, a private corporation in Russia and steal IP. There's a lot of Chinese Chinese spies who come here and they work at.
Oh, they work at like a Google and Facebook and stuff.
Yeah, and they basically.
But are they technically spies though, or are they just more like just keeping docs?
No, they're trying to. This is like a known thing that's talked about a lot within these companies. As far as I know, I hear it on podcasts from people who should know these things.
Well, what's the point of it though?
Oh, so they can have better technology for their own industries and compete with us better. If they don't have to develop the technology themselves, they can just steal it.
Okay, so you're saying hypothetically, or you're not saying hypothetically, you're saying
I'm saying this does happen
with full certainty that
this does happen. Why wouldn't it happen? It just if the government has incentives to spy on other governments and that within their agencies, they have incentives to spy on powerful companies with very very good IP, and there's other companies too. And then there's also corporate espionage where people, I don't know if this happens it's very common, but at least there's lots of movies made about it, which suggests to me it might have happened a time or two where someone goes from like Exxon at one oil company and they spy on another oil company to kind of learn what their competitor is doing better. Spying seems to be a normal development in these situations, but I haven't met a spy in Bitcoin yet. So I don't know.
That's not what you tell me behind the scenes.
Oh, well, I haven't met a spy that I know to be a spy. I have people that I feel suspicious about, but
yeah. Anyways,
not that it matters, but I think it's fun to think about that we're in a movie where someone would care enough to spy.
I think it's just. I think I've come to realize it's more like I feel like I don't think it's as bad as people think it is. I think it could be though if they're like trying to destroy whatever you're building. I think that's one way, but I don't see that happening. I think it's more they're just kind of keeping tabs.
Yeah, they're trying to make sure nothing criminal is going on.
Yeah. But what a waste of money. In my opinion, how can we afford that? Anyways.
Yeah, but if they catch someone doing something bad, say, that's some terrorist thing, like we'd all be very thankful that no one got killed. Maybe, I don't. But that's like the best case scenario for that. How that money gets built is it saves lives.
Yeah, Darth Coin said a simple message for all those losers: if you don't like Bitcoin, fine, more sats for me. I love that. It's a good way to think. Cool. That's all the top stories this week on Stacker News, and our top stories lumped in there. Let's jump into the top stackers.
Super stacked segment.
We got 2 stackers in hiding.
Undisciplined.
Dang, Undisciplined went up that fast?
He's at the top.
Wow.
He's been at the top for like the last few weeks.
What is he doing? Is he just living on Stacker News?
Oh, he's zapping a lot. That's his man. His philosophy as a stacker.
He's even
is to
beating
zap.
you.
Yeah.
Are you working hard enough, Coop?
I guess not. I mean,
Undisciplined's working
80,
hard.
I don't know how to work more than 80 hours.
EK, look at this. EK, what's going on, EK? You leave Austin, fall down to number 9? Darth Coin.
I would guess EK has a bunch of alts or something.
Oh, you think so?
I think so.
Is he undisciplined?
No, he's not undisciplined. I'm pretty sure not.
Okay, cool.
Undisciplined is a very distinct personality.
We got top stackers. Then we got the top cowboys, the most boring segment of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the future. Wow, this thing changed up a lot. Who's in hiding?
I don't know. I have not uncovered the mystery, but
What would be the point of being in hiding for a cowboy? I'm still trying to figure that out.
they mostly don't want people to know that they're a very active Stacker News user. It's just good privacy.
But wouldn't they know here though? Or they would also be hidden on the stackers?
Yeah, they don't want their cowboy hat next to their name. This was something that actually super.
But would they also?
suggested.
Wouldn't you also know just by the top stackers though?
No, those aren't related.
But
the cowboy hat is an independent
So
metric.
the cowboy hat could be hiding,
Yeah.
while also not be hiding on the top stackers.
Yeah, those are independent. They're independent things.
But wouldn't you be able to correlate the two informations together or the information together to know which one was?
Who?
I know who this is, just by doing the show.
Oh no, but those aren't correlated. That's the thing. The Cowboys is an independent metric of how much value a person is contributing, because the cowboy hat is mostly just like a very low bar.
Oh, so this is more like who's the most valuable stacker.
Not Cowboys, but the last metric we were looking at, the one we were looking at before, that one is who are the most valuable stackers for the week,
And
according to our
who's the
algorithm.
most valuable stacker.
Who has the longest streak going with a cowboy hat? That's what.
Why
this
would you
is.
hide this then?
Because they want to hide that they're a regular stacker news person,
Even though
completing
we
the
talk
streak.
about them every week.
Yeah, they
Okay.
don't want to be known. Ask if you're curious about why people would hide it. Ask Super, because Super requested hiding the cowboy hat.
No, maybe Super's at the top one. Anyways, good. Hey, just line of questioning. That's it.
Dude, you want a question? I'm gonna give you an answer. I'm not gonna. I'm not. I don't have to be nice about it.
I'm just kidding. I'm trying to get it going. We got the Million Sat Madness that's still going every day.
It's a daily Sat Madness.
Daily Sat Madness. I got a good one last week.
Yeah, I think you
Just
shared.
came in hot.
Yeah, well,
It's like 9K.
what'd you share? You shared a
remember.
post, didn't you?
Shared something.
Maybe it was your Super Testnet
Probably. Yeah.
pod.
It was good.
Yeah.
I'm not on leaderboard this week.
Get
It's
some-
been busy this week.
Goop.
Yeah, I'm not on here. Cool. I think that's it. What are you up to this weekend?
What am I up to? I'm going. There's a Japanese art exhibit, I think,
Oh wow.
in town. I might go check that out.
Yeah.
Just cause
Do you hear kids?
I do hear kids. Is your family here?
I feel like she would have called me, but maybe. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. What are you doing? What are you up to this weekend?
We got to film. We're going to be filming tomorrow for our new super top secret launch that's happening in August, and then
Super
it should
top
be
secret.
fun. Should be
Wow.
fun. And then
Black Ops.
No, just fun ops. And then go to church. Say hi to the brotherhood, all that kind of stuff. Wait,
Oh yeah.
got let's go into the comments.
We have 2 viewers. Here, kids.
Whoa,
Did
gotta pause this. We got Darth Coin. He says Assange was killed. What you see free is a clone that will just do what the
Wow.
program to say.
That is a
Is he
theory.
really saying that?
No, he said, didn't he do like a smiley face?
Oh, okay. Car, why do you think Darth is always right? Because he's a time traveler. Whoa. Darth, will you do me a favor? Will you make your predictions by 2030? I think he would probably be right, too. There's some people in the Bitcoin space that are just, they just tend to be right more often than not.
Yeah, they have the vision. They're touched.
Undisciplined says, what about this guy, Darth? Is he one of you? Pleb Lab China. Never happening. It is communism, Car. Trust your instincts. See, I told you. See, I'm so glad the stackers agree with me, because I know when I'm right, and then you make me think I'm wrong. That's your your voodoo on this show.
It's like I don't know if like I can't tie. It's not a direct tie, but communism does lead to bad stuff. I'm not saying that communism
Darth
is
Coin
good.
says patriotism is a shitcoinism, no matter what type of political state you live in. You got to give me some proof on that, Darth. Undisciplined says the U.S. Constitution was primarily written by Madison. Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence. Darth Coin says the U.S. Constitution equals the document which killed the principles of 1776. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like somebody should.
Thank you, Undisciplined. I didn't. Yeah,
And then Darth Coin also said.
I think I got that wrong.
He said Coob watched the Beavis and Butthead debate. And then, oh wow, he called out one of the most well-known spies in Bitcoin. But you got to go see the comments.
I can't see it.
Got to go.
You
Got to go to the comments for that.
Oh, he said Richard Hearn called it.
Let me read the comments from last week's episode.
Wasn't there another Hearn? Wasn't there like a Michael Hearn?
I think you're thinking of Chick Hearn. He was
Who was-
famous.
Who was the like
he was
Bitcoin
a
ultimate
famous
or
coach.
whatever
Chick Hearn was famous coach for. This is gonna
for the
fall.
CIA?
No,
CIA's
for,
baseball team.
I think he was Chicago Bulls. I think Chick Hearn,
Oh,
or maybe he was an announcer for Chicago. I forget. We got Blockchain Book from last week's episode. My project got hacked. He says, "Oh shoot, it's super!" Exclamation point. His new L2 song is a vibe. Stealing is wrong. He loved his song. And then Vake says, "Dude, people love Sacred News Live."
Dude, sounds like Vake maybe got some friends. He's not really leaving us any of those scary those messages anymore, which is nice.
Oh, he left me one on Thriller. He listens to Thriller too. He left me one. Let me see if I can find it. It was wasn't scary. It was just kind of
It's like fun scary, cute scary.
Yeah, he said because I did a psyops and surveillance EP with Alex Stringer, and he says girlfriends are deep state psyops. Stay focused, kings. That's fake.
Wow. Do you believe that? Do you think there's like a time in a man's life where he should be adult, like family starting age, and be like single?
I think everybody's journey is different, man. I really do. I think it's up to the individual. But then there's the whole predestination type of thinking too, right? Where it's like, oh, this was predestined. And then you're kind of like, then there's that. And then there's just coincidences. And you know how I feel about coincidences. It's just a lot of coincidences that just you can't avoid. And then I also think there's just way things. Yeah, it's just, it's better not thinking about that kind of stuff, to be honest.
Really? I'd
rather think about the time travel stuff. Like for fun thinking? Do you ever have fun thinking?
Yeah, no, fun thinking is fun. But yeah, I think this is kind of an interesting question of like.
I'd rather not think about it. Because I think for me, like if I start thinking about it, then I'll try to make it happen. So I'd rather spend time thinking about things that I want to make happen.
I see.
It's like a force. What do you call that? You pull it. They did a whole thing about it. It's
The Secret.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah, like Oprah, that book thing. There was a guy. I remember watching a documentary with a bunch.
Scam.
Well, this idea has been around for a long time, and people just rephrase it and say.
I think it's just there was a podcast I was watching. Somebody was saying that how you make things really happen is just by enthusiasm and some other things. I forget what other qualities he was saying, but I thought that was fascinating. I was like, really? Just enthusiasm? But it kind of makes sense.
I think you make things by your will.
That too.
That's mostly what I think.
But yeah, I don't know. I think the time travel stuff's interesting because technically, like that would be cool if you could send messages back in time.
What would you say?
That's what I was trying to tell you earlier. Like, did you ever saw the photon time travel thing? So
I don't think so.
You can send. Yeah, there it goes right there.
They simulated it. I don't know what that means.
So you can send photons.
Do we even know what a photon is?
I feel like I know it. But I might need a refresher. Photons simulate time travel in the lab. So theoretically, you could send text.
Okay.
Theoretically.
Are you?
So I'm saying like maybe the whole Reddit thing is just fun thinking. Put on your.
Oh, you mean it was like one of these?
It
was one of these time travel photons that he sent back to make a Reddit post.
Maybe. Like, would you send yourself? Would you like if you could text message yourself to the past from the future? Would you? Like if your future you, like if you invented, let's just say hypothetically, you invented a photon time traveling texting machine. Would you send future? Would future Coob send past Coob what's really going to happen to avoid those things in his timeline?
Probably not. No, I don't know. I don't trust that I'm able to make the right decisions about what I should have done in the past.
So you would just ignore the text?
I would read the text. I just don't. I wouldn't send the text back because I think I would be.
You can't send back. This is only going back. You would only get a text message back to you. You wouldn't get a text message.
But I wouldn't be able to send one back. But if I'm in the future sending one back.
Do you know anything about this, Topher?
This is totally the plot to me.
To what?
This is like you're describing the plot to me.
To an anime? Is it really?
Yeah.
It's an anime plot? Do you want to come talk about it? Okay. Anyways, I'm just saying, dude, this is possible.
I
Super testnet.
I don't know if it's possible.
Super testnet invent this.
But I believe it's
Super testnet, drop
It's a
everything.
possibility.
Drop everything super. Start making the photon time travel texting machine.
I don't think this is like, I don't think Bitcoin developers have this skill.
Super does.
Oh.
Maybe Dusty.
I mean, Dusty is certainly he has hair growing skills.
Ben Carmen, maybe. You don't think so?
No, I think this is this is something you kind of maybe need a different background for. But they make great money sending software. That's what I believe.
Because it makes you wonder, like, if you could do this, could you send a Bitcoin transaction back in time?
But what would be the point of that?
Just saying.
I mean, you would want to send it from the past.
All sorts of
forward,
things
'cause
would happen then at that point.
Bitcoin was
imagine
worth
if
less.
imagine if this got invented, could you send a transaction back in time? And that's why we see some of these whale moves. Maybe I'm just saying there's a fictional story here. Maybe Topher's right. Maybe there's an anime around here.
No, saying it actually is an anime.
It's an actual anime.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. Have you ever gotten an anime?
No,
I feel like you would love anime.
just Dragon Ball Z, but I don't think that's anime.
I don't. Not really. Not this.
Anyways.
Type of anime.
Stackers, if you're out there from the future, come to stacker.news and tell us about the photon time traveling texting device and message us what's going on in the future from 2030.
Please do. Why only 2030? Should we look a little further ahead?
Okay, 2035.
2035.
Is that enough time?
Well, I wanna
2034.
I actually want a
When's
full
the next
timeline.
epoch? Be 28, 32. Okay, yeah, 2032.
Okay, cool.
There
Two
you go.
halvings from now.
There you go.
I'd love that. What? What do you know, Vic?
Oh man,
Is that like an oil painting of Donald Trump? In
I
his
don't know.
bio?
There you go, Vic. You just learned that Stacker News Live is on YouTube. Cool.